episode 21, and we're looking at round 5 action of the AFL. Let's get straight into the results, eh? First thing, we had the big Friday night match of Carlton-Collingwood, with Mick finally breaking the Jock McHale's record in one of the most boring matches I've ever had the pleasure of watching.
I think the build-up to the match and the build-up to Mick's breaking the record was more exciting than how the match actually played out.
I reckon they did all right with it too. It was very respectful, and having the whole MCG dark and the blue tunnel, and he's there with his kids and his grandkids, and that was all fantastic.
And Christy Malthouse got to do the interviewing. She broke out of her boundary riding retirement.
Yeah, to come back into the fold. I bet he wished a few players broke out of their retirement and come back in.
Well, in a lot of ways, it was kind of the matchup we were expecting for the loser to be in trouble with their coaching future.
Yeah, and it was really good, Mick Malthouse, afterwards. He's come to that, conclusion that I'm not going to get another contract if we're,
getting smashed
week in, week out. Which reminds me of when he was given the arse at Collingwood, or told about their transition plan, and he started just speaking openly and honestly in all his post-match interviews, and it was fantastic. And I think he's there already. He started that way. It felt like this week, which is great because they're the best interviews out of Mick Malthouse.
Oh, absolutely. When he's not trying to just toe the company line, but especially when you're trading up a bloke to replace you, who, well, let's just say it, I don't think Buckley's as good a coach as Malthouse.
Yeah, but that's come and gone. He's doing all right now. I mean, they're sitting third, Collingwood.
They're doing better than what we picked they'd be doing at the start of the season. So
I thought they'd slide down. I didn't think they'd be sitting third now, and I think they've got an all right run for the next month too.
Yeah, I think they had some sort of your mid-level players do their parts and really step up, and in conjunction with a few good recruits that they've picked up as well.
Yeah.
No, I'm not jumping off the bandwagon yet. I reckon they're going to slide.
Oh, yeah, it's still early. There's still every chance for it. But, I mean, really, their only shocking win, if you call it that, was the Anzac Day win against Essendon.
Yeah.
All the others were kind of predictable, so it hasn't been a terrible run-in to the season for
them.
If
you look at the game against Carlton, it was an absolute flogging, and Collingwood have managed to accrue 15 different goal kickers for the match.
That's not a bad effort.
That is spectacular.
The highest goal scorer was 2 goals, and there was a few of them.
Yeah. If you got the stats there, how many points did Cloak kick?
Oh, yes, I'll just get that. So, I mean, just that in general says that they're getting plenty of the ball around there.
And it's been spaced around.
Yep, there we are. Cloak kicked 2 goals 3.
2 goals 3, yeah.
So
it's not good how quickly he's gone from could be a Coleman medalist a couple of years ago to, oh my God, where's this kick going to go?
Yeah.
And his 3 points weren't snaps from the boundary.
No.
They were gettable, and I think one of them was 20 out, dead in front.
There was one from the goal square that he just snuck in, which is better than what some of the other blokes did on the weekend.
But possibly with the whole team sort of helping out in this respect, it might take a little bit of the pressure off him if you can win by that much. And I mean, you would hope in that sort of win you get a bit of free goal kicking practice.
Yeah.
But it is a good thing that if he can't kick him, then the people around him have got their goal kicking practice. So.
Yeah. But I mean, obviously they're going to have the best people looking at his kicking mechanic and everything like that. Surely, actually, Richard had a good point about it. He was saying that if you have 10 people telling him what he should be doing to his style, he's got no hope.
Yeah.
Just get one person that he respects, and there's plenty of blokes out there who've got beautiful kicking styles.
I mean, his old man won a Coleman medal too, I think. I'm not sure. He said he kicked a few.
I think he got one just on the mo.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's not like they're short of kicking coaches and whatnot, but, I mean, what is he, 28, something like that? He's been in the AFL system for 10 years, plus God knows how much footy he's played before that. It's just, I honestly think that at some stage you've got to tap him on the shoulder and go, how does centre-half back sound, mate?
Yeah.
Because he'd be a great centre-half backman.
And is it just like gets the yips or a bit nerves, or could just just shit?
I don't know. Can you call it the yips if it lasts 3.5 years?
Well, that's what I'm not sure.
I think,
how long do you keep getting away with it?
I think Carey had the best comment with it, that he just drops the ball too high. He lets the ball fall on his foot from above his waist and doesn't follow through with the kick half the time. He stabs at it.
And I mean, Carey was a fair kick himself, so he'd probably know a thing or two about kicking.
Wasn't a bad one.
He wasn't the absolute sweetest kick, but he was one of the better ones, that's for sure.
You'd trust him from the tip of the goal square, which is something you wouldn't trust Travis Cloak with at the minute.
Well, yeah, siren's blown, you're down by 4. who do you want to have the hands of the ball?
Oh.
You wouldn't want Cloak.
No. But at the other end of the ground, Casbolt wasn't even playing because of his kicking's just so bad. Which I think the same thing. Do it now before he ruins himself.
He is bitterly disappointing. He is one of the best contested marks in the game at the moment.
Such a set of hands, but
And
just cannot kick. And
No.
it's not like it's an innate skill. You know, something that's a finite skill that you learn later on.
Yeah.
After a few years in the AFL, there are 10-year-olds that can kick better or straighter. I don't understand it. How you can be that bad at that level.
It's also not something that you can't relearn. I mean, he's kicking probably 1,000 kicks a week. So if you focus on it for a week, you've thrown 1,000 at it. Like they reckon it only takes 1,000 hours to get proficient at something.
10,000.
10,000.
10,000 to be a master.
He can do that in a year.
Yeah.
In terms of kicking.
I think they said that Sav Rocker is helping out down at Carlton.
Yep.
And Anthony Rocker is helping out at Collingwood. But I'll tell you what, if I was Sav, I'd just be asking if they could keep that quiet just for now.
Yeah.
Just wait until it comes good, then you can sing me praises. Don't worry about it. So Carlton 1-4 now. I think have they got Brisbane this week?
Yeah. Carlton Brisbane.
Carlton Brisbane.
Eddie had from memory.
Thank God for them, because I don't know if there's many other teams they're going to beat this year.
Honestly, I think that's going to be a close one. Not in a good way.
Not in a good way, no. All right, on to match number 2, which is the one I spent a half at, was the Tigers and the Cats. Absolutely gorgeous weather at the G, so there's no excuses there. The tackling was amazing, but the skills and decisions were a little bit surprising on some of them. I don't know how much the game you guys saw, but
Well, I watched a good first half and then, had to mow the front lawns. So, yeah.
I was also sitting amongst a bunch of Geelong supporters, and I tell you what, have they turned?
Really?
There was an old woman. She was probably mid-50s, sitting in front of me with her thermos and blanket on, screaming out, "Don't kick it to Stevie J."
Jesus.
I'm like,
whoa.
I tell you what, if you've lost the thermos and blanket crowd, I think you've lost everyone. Mm-hmm. I saw I think he got a couple of goals late, but in the first half, if he had 8 touches, he stuffed up 7 of them.
Something's wrong with him. Like for him to start in the singlet last week,
Yep.
you got to wonder what's happening at the back. Like for him to mess up touches like that, he must have some niggling injury, like a hip or a shoulder or something that's just put his whole body dynamic off.
Yeah, it could be, but I mean, some of it was even just decision making, which it felt like somebody who was trying to save their career. Like there was one in the first or second quarter where he was in the forward and he shrugged off one tackle and it was an easy handball out, but he decided to do a spin and go for another one, just so he could have the shot on goal.
Yeah.
And it's like, I need this one.
Yeah.
Which is a little bit weird, but yeah, I don't know. What do you do with him? If he was 22, you'd say, all right, go back to the VFL and get some form. But he's not. He's 30 now.
The thing with him too, if he has a bad first quarter, he's fucked the rest of the game. He's a confidence player because he's the one out there who's always, got the mouth going.
He's always talking.
He's
yeah,
always
yeah,
in someone's
absolutely.
ear, always talking himself up. So if he has a downer and all of a sudden the talk's coming back at him, he seems to not respond very well. He seems to sort of, want to hide.
I think it's a team thing as well because a lot of in the past when Geelong were up and about, you just kick it over to Stevie J, he'll do something. Now they're like, oh, you know what, there might be another option and trying to go somewhere else. But yeah, very weird. But the Tigers,
Not looking too good.
Not looking too good. Hardwick's, I'm sure he's not feeling very comfortable either.
Yeah, it's probably a few murmurs behind the scenes there.
I'm sure there are.
A few little contingency plans going on for the ifs and whats and what we're going to do.
The thing with a lot of that, though, is there's not as many A-level coaches in waiting as there was last year and the year before.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you can get rid of him, but Richmond have been doing that for 20 years.
Yeah, exactly.
He hasn't really done much.
And we said it last week, and I think we'll say it for the next 10 weeks, that Hardwick's still the right man.
Yeah.
I would reckon so.
Some of the cattle there just isn't quite responding. I mean, they need to get Delidio back, obviously, and I think he's a week away.
Yeah,
or something like that.
He's been a week away for a couple of weeks. So
yeah.
So you never know.
Might be a good time to get him back in the mix.
That's it. And I mean, even the scoreline then sort of flattered Richmond because they
a couple of late goals.
Plus, it was still, I think it was 2 goals 5 after half time or after three-quarter time or something like that.
They made Harry Taylor look good.
Yeah,
kicking it to him a lot, which is good to see. 'Cause, he's still up and about.
yeah. Jack kicked 3 straight, so I mean that's one positive.
Yeah, but how many were them? Were in the last quarter?
I can't even remember.
He took a really good mark out in the 50. I know that.
And I mean there was just no one that can match up on Tom Hawkins.
No,
It's too big, too much of a presence in the forward line, and just exposed everyone down there pretty much.
Yeah. And geez, they're a tall side too. And
Yeah.
For an undersized back line like Richmond.
Yeah, exactly.
You've got one of the better backmen in Rance, but he can only do so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, putting someone like Hawkins is just too big, too strong.
Yeah, it's the same as with Hawthorn's Josh Gibson. He's a brilliant backman, but some of those guys are just too much of a monster.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's barely 6 foot. Both of them. Anyway, on to who we got next? Sydney and the Bulldogs.
Yep.
Match of the round.
Again, making sure that my tips look shit.
No, I had the Bulldogs. I think they're up and about.
They are now.
They
Bloody
certainly
hell. Pissing down rain, which used to be Sydney's calling card. You used to,
Especially the SCG.
yeah, it's raining. Don't worry about it. Sydney's got this. But I think out of the 5 or 6 games they lost last year, I think 3 or 4 of them were in the wet.
Yep.
They've gone from a wet weather side to a dry. So
Well, I think
it's their weakness.
I think that's their game plan has always been possession based, like short possession, control the ball, control the pace. Western Bulldogs did that, but did it better, and they hunted in packs. There was never one Western Bulldogs guy running alone. There was always one running by, one putting the shepherd on, always doing the 1%ers.
And I mean, it was just Sydney kicked the first 2, and then Western Bulldogs just went, all right, we're turned up now, and bang, 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 there we go.
Such a different side to last week when they played Hawthorn. Was it? Yeah, it was last week. Where they looked like they were just, oh my god, we're going to get thrashed here.
Yeah.
Whereas this one, they looked like they had belief. Bontempelli's back in the side after a week rest.
Yeah.
He's just goes from strength to strength.
Like I said, I got $10 on him for the Brownlow at the start of the year, and I'm backing it up. Like if Fife falls over, I'm home and hose.
If Fife whacks somebody in round 16, you're laughing. It's I can't believe it with the Bulldogs because they lost their coach, lost their captain, lost their best and fairest all before round 1. Now they're sitting. What are they? 4-1.
Yeah, I think they're up at equal second. I think.
And Murphy's had a resurgence. Like,
how good is he?
He's the player he was 5 years ago.
Yeah. Now he's always been quick, but now it just looks like everyone's on board. They're all marching to the beat of the same.
They are 4-1, sitting 3rd on percentage behind Collingwood.
There you are. And I think I heard somebody on the radio saying that their next 2 months are actually pretty good, or the next 2.5 months because they play like St Kilda and the Gold Coast twice and. So they've got they're hitting a little bit of form at the same time that they've got a really good draw.
Yeah, well, the next 5 are St Kilda, Freo, Melbourne, GWS and Port.
Okay, so they drop. Let's say they drop Port and Freo.
Yeah.
Which after
are they
just
home or away, those 2?
Haven't got it on here. Sorry.
So either way, and they've just knocked off Sydney, so it's not lay down that they'll lose those 2 games.
Yeah.
Everything else is very winnable. They could go to something like 12-3 by round 15 or round 16 if there's a bye.
Yeah.
That's finals.
Yeah, and I mean, you look at they're playing Freo after St Kilda, so you'd think they get the win over Saints and have a bit of confidence. And that'll be one match where hey, we're sitting 3rd and they're 1st. Treat it like a final.
Yep.
Just put a bit of pressure on ourselves, and let's see how we stand up.
It'll be a great test for them because they got unlucky with injuries against Hawthorn and then just didn't believe they could win.
Yeah.
Now, I don't think they'd ever go into another match like that again after knocking off Sydney in Sydney.
Yeah.
The Bulldogs have got the Dockers here and they're away at Port. So I put them at even money to take either of those matches.
Yeah, and I mean, based on their form this season, you can't really count them out of any contest at the moment.
Not anymore.
No, not at
So
all.
it was away from home or...
And the thing is, too, everyone... I think the Bulldogs are that hard luck story that everyone just wants to see do a bit better.
Yeah.
Like one premiership for a team that's been in that long since, 56 was it? Or 54?
54, they won that
54. Are there any players living that played in it? Wouldn't be so many.
I think there's still a couple, but they're getting less and less.
And I mean, I think the real test for these sorts of sides are that you can play free when there hasn't been much pressure on you because you're sort of a turned over squad and There's not much expectation, and you're free to play the football that you've wanted to play for so long under the pressure of whatever was going on behind the scenes last year.
A brand new coach, brings it all in.
And so it was interesting to see, once they get taken as a serious competitive side by the other teams, and they start get the pressure of the media and that, because they are a potential side, how they can handle that.
Yeah.
The thing is, too, though, it's not falling on one player. Like they're not a one superstar team. But Bontempelli's a fucking brilliant player, but he's not shouldering all the responsibility. Like Picken had a brilliant,
he had a great game.
Brilliant game.
Probably his best game.
Yeah, and they're sharing it around so much. And Liberatore still to come back.
I doubt he'll come back this year. But next year he was probably good for it.
But once he's fit, just having him around the club, because here's a bloke who's going to be so damn hungry for it. Blokes, they're going to be running out and doing it for him, kind of thing. Like he's going to be just their number one supporter, and he's going to be just making sure each one of them is pushing themselves, earning it, and every time they're running out on the training track, he's going to be there helping them.
Yep.
Or kicking their ass if he needs to.
The only thing with the Bulldogs is if they look forward to the next couple of months, like we said, they got the Freo game and the Port game.
Yeah.
You can't forget about the other games, the ones that they now should win.
Yeah.
And it's so often with these teams, they end up dropping one that you don't expect. So that's what they'll go against. On to the next game, Gold Coast versus Lions.
Less said the better.
As far as I know, according to the paper, this game happened.
Yep.
And we'll leave it there.
Yeah, it was just the highlights. I don't even know.
I think one of the highlights was the drainage of the ground. Because there's a lot of rain up there, and they actually got the game to happen. Was it Christensen for Brisbane missed the worst shot on goal of the year, running in open goal from the edge of the goal square, and it's harder to miss from there than it is to get it in. But he managed, and then I can't remember who it was for Gold Coast did practically the same thing later on in the game. But it was two winless sides, and it looked like it. But anyway, Gold Coast got their first win.
But how heavy have Brisbane fell? At the start of the season, their midfield was looking world class. They were looking like they were going to play finals. Now, you don't know if they win a game in the VFL.
No, I'm glad I changed my mind just before the season started, but I was thinking, you know what, they might sneak into the 8.
Yeah.
Now, I don't think they'll get 8 points.
Yeah. I think they'll struggle full stop, and I think they'll just lose interest in footy by about round 12.
I think they're planning for the future and just trying to get Jonathan Brown on, not as many kids out of him as possible. Just get him breeding.
Put him out to start. Even Lepich in the post-match presser, he just looked lost.
Yeah.
And you can't blame him, poor bastard.
And that's it. When you, I don't know, when you look at your team on paper and you see what you've got, and you put out performance like this, you must just sit there at night and just go, where the fuck do I start? Like, this is an absolute mess. There's no way she could be pumped by this much.
What's happening with Merritt at the moment?
Oh, big sauce bottle.
Yeah.
I think he's coming out each week. That's about it.
Because he had a couple of weeks off.
I'm not even sure if he played.
Yeah, no, he's one of those blokes that he is actually a very, very good backman. And he can muscle up to the big guys, but I don't think he's been on the park.
I'm not sure with the injuries. And like I said, I was never going to watch this game.
No.
I was just going to take anybody else's word that it occurred, that it happened. And
I paid attention. I was in the bottom right-hand corner for a little bit of the day. That's about it.
On to the Saturday night at Etihad, North versus Hawks. Nothing too fantastic came out of this game. No talk about it.
Oh, no. It was, uninteresting first quarter. I actually turned off and...
haven't heard a thing.
Honestly, better hits in that match than Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather fight.
I was going to say that. It was a lot more action in this one.
Well, they got a bit inspired, I think, by the countdown, and they might have watched Manny's doco or something like that.
Well, I tell you what.
Fight up the old lads.
Taylor Drea's little gut punch was a harder punch than either of the two boxers landed Sunday morning.
Yeah.
That actually got referred to, didn't it?
No. They looked at it and went, pfft.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
And it was barely a tap. Enough for a free kick and a goal, but that's about it.
Well, to sort of, like, technically you'd say it's not supposed to happen, but it does happen every bloody week. Yeah,
it's a free kick. I mean, there's no need to do it.
Yeah.
But to go any further than that.
Yeah, the free kick was given, it's fine.
So Hodge has got referred direct to the tribunal. Lewis has got 3 down to 2, and he's not going to challenge that because he hasn't got much of a challenge to give.
I thought that would be the other way around, to be honest. But because Hodges, it is bad because he leapt after him and clipped him, but he he sort of clipped him with a forearm and elbow. It wasn't a straight right cross to the jaw, which is probably what saved him from having some real trouble.
I don't think anything saved him from real trouble.
Well, he's referred to tribunal, but if you Barry Hall it, you're going to get half a season. But if he missed, and he did, and he Swallow played on for a bit, so that's probably.
What do you mean played on for a bit? He played on for the rest of the game until he got subbed out in the fourth.
Well, that's not the rest of the game, is it?
That's the until bit.
Yeah, he played on for a bit. He didn't continue playing the whole game.
Oh, yeah, it's 100 minutes. He got hit in the sixth minute, and he played for the next 90.
It wasn't a sixth.
No, it was something about that. Exaggerating for the sake of the point. He played another 2.5 quarters, put it that way. More than half a game.
He played on for a bit. Which is probably what's going to save Hodge from a long holiday. He'd probably get 3.
That's the only thing with the MRP or the tribunal, is that they take the medical report into such account.
Yeah.
So that something innocuous that happens to catch somebody the wrong way and they get knocked out and they get concussion and they're out. You go, well, you're getting a couple of weeks there, champ.
Yeah.
Whereas something that is a big hit and somebody just gets up and keeps going on with it, you're like, oh, well, it's nothing.
It was like the May hit in the Gold Coast game. That was a side bump, an absolutely legal move that went wrong.
Yeah.
In a minor way. And that's getting reviewed by the tribunal.
Yeah, he got 2 weeks.
Yeah, and see, to me, the 2 weeks for that and the 2 weeks for Lewis, same penalty for 2 very different actions. But that's the way the match review panel's always been. It's unpredictable.
Yeah, and it's like it's just like we're saying, the medical report comes into it because Rockcliffe got knocked clean out, as opposed to Goldstein, who got up and took his kick. It's just weird the way that they take the results rather than the intentions.
Yeah.
But anyway, like I was saying with Lewis, because that incident happened right in front of us where we were sitting, and you can see the kicks come out, and he's like, "Oh, I've got no chance of this, but I have to put a body on him," and he's gone whack, the big clothesline across the head. And I thought, the first thing I thought was, oh, I didn't know he could jump that high.
I actually thought he was trying to do a professional free kick to try and hold the ball up. Just, give him a whack on the arms, and the umpire's like, here you go, and he's going to, save an extra 10, 15 seconds so they can flood back. But I don't think anyone ever means to coat hanger someone because you're going to get suspended.
I thought the other great shame of it was it's horrible to see 2 people of the same background attacking on each other. Because I've had enough of this Jewish on Jewish violence. Because I'm assuming because with a name like Goldstein,
Jewish gangsters,
a name like Goldstein, and Jordan Lewis, he wears a yarmulke while he plays.
Oh, yeah.
I see where you're going with that now.
But so you take the 2 reports out. It was actually kind of a hiding, and it could have been bigger. It wasn't until the last quarter that Hawthorn started to kick straight.
Well, it seemed like they came out firing, and that just deflated that sort of attitude when Hodgie and Lewis got done, and then they just sort of went about the business. And I don't know, it seemed like
North didn't really respond. Like in days past, you'd have blokes like Archer. King just go, well, looks like I'm getting a holiday, and he'd just go around smacking people.
Yeah,
but every team needs that. Like there was when
an
that
enforcer.
When that shit happened. There was a bit of push and shove, but no one was really holding Hodge or Lewis accountable for that shit.
Yeah.
Which, you could argue it's not the game, but it is.
And I think both Hodge and Lewis went on and had 30 touches each or thereabouts.
So. Close.
So they weren't really feeling too guilty about it.
But in the actual context of the game, it was Gunston, Smith and Hill that really won it. He couldn't stop Gunston. He was marking it all over the place, and I think he kicked a couple as well. And Smith, if they were picking an all-Australian side right now, Isaac Smith would probably be in it on a wing.
Yeah, well, on a wing, 27 touches, 2 goals.
Yes.
It's not a bad night's work.
Got a lot of run. Most impressive for North, I thought, was big Benny Brown again. They got to stop kidding themselves that he's a second ruckman. Yeah. Goldstein rucks by himself. Yeah. Benny Brown could be the best full forward, the best tall forward in the game.
He could be the best person to get North Melbourne bums in seats since pre-Carey.
Like his ability to take a leading mark above his head, he doesn't miss them. And I was just reading the other day, he doesn't take contested marks. He hasn't had a contested mark this year.
Really? He just gets open.
Because he has that quick 10 metre. Yeah. And, in the credit, the players get the fuck out of his way.
Yeah. Well, that's what they should do. And also, when he is jumping, I watched it a couple of times on Saturday night. he's a really good judge of the ball because he'll jump and put his great big arms up and he'll mark it at the absolute peak of his jump.
Yeah.
So there's nobody who's going to spoil that.
The only thing I don't get with him, and something he may be able to improve on, is the way he runs is just with straight hips.
Doesn't it? He looks so funny.
Like, you see, people try and get that acceleration by twisting their hips, into the stride. He just seems to have a block body and he just runs from his knees. So it takes him 4 or 5 steps to get going, and then he starts hitting stride.
It is the fastest waddle you've ever seen.
It's like the cartoons where you get your legs spinning first and then you take off.
It's the equivalent of river dance. That's how he runs. But yeah, geez, he can reach up and take a big grab. And kicking him from the boundary line and picking him up off the turf and kicking him around the corner. I thought he was really exciting.
Well, actually, for a bloke his size, his snaps are spectacular.
Yeah.
His ability to kick across the shoulder and put it through the sticks. I haven't seen a big bloke do that for quite a while since Buddy Franklin does it. But he's one of the up and coming forwards that will get people turning up to matches,
I reckon. Okay, the other game on Saturday night, which we didn't even see much because we were at the Hawthorn North game, West Coast and GWS. Such a shame for GWS because we were really hoping for big things from them, and West Coast just went about their business and smashed them.
Exactly, and I mean, it was West Coast still kicked 12 points. That's the scary thing.
Yeah,
and it was a nice sunny night, but I mean, it's good for West Coast. Let's be honest; they get a bit of confidence back.
Yeah, Kennedy's leading the Coleman again. He put another half a dozen or 5 on the board.
Certainly did, and I mean, GWS they can't really take much out of this, but they're hoping to have gained a lot more out of it. They had the potential to really get some confidence and, build the team up and give some people some experience and put on a good show, but it wasn't to be. They got completely and thoroughly demolished.
Yep.
The thing with that, though, I did see they had a lot more tackles than West Coast, which, considering West Coast had a lot of the ball, it's always going to happen.
Yeah, it's going to happen.
Just being able to get the body on body, I think matters like that. At the moment, they're not tackling as well as they can. They're not pinning the arms. They're not powering the person down to the ground. So that, if you're able to stay on your feet for 3 seconds, you get the ball out.
Yep.
But if you get tackled off your feet, as long as you're not pushed in the back, it's much harder to get an effective handball out because you can only go handball in one direction.
Yeah, exactly.
But once, also they're a young, slight side. A few more seasons in the gym, and we're going to see a lot more of them.
Yeah, and I mean, they've definitely got the talent, so...
Where are they on the ladder? They're still up there.
They're still up there, yeah.
I hope they play finals this year.
It's only their second loss.
Well, I mean, everyone expected Gold Coast to be putting them on. They're sitting 8th at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
3 and 2.
I thought they were actually higher than that. But, and Cam McCarthy kicked another few. So it's going to be very interesting next week when they host Hawthorn, who are depleted in the back lines and depleted in the middle now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to be so. I hope GWS do well, but I think Hawthorn's still going to have...
They'll never have a better chance.
No, this is true.
On to the Sunday games. We had Melbourne hosting Freo, and I think it turned out pretty much as you'd expected. Freo just muscled it through. They lost Walters early, and I think, did they lose Pavlich, or Pavlich was under a cloud halfway through the game, but they just did what they did and kept moving it on.
They won every single stat except for the freeze.
And media turning the heat up on Jack Watts again. It's not really a whole lot of sympathisers left, I think. They went through a little stage about 2 weeks ago where the tide turned and everyone was like, give him a break, give him his chance.
He had a great game. I'm trying to think which one it was. It was round...
Might have been Richmond, actually, I think.
Could have been.
Yeah.
We had a really good game where he showed a bit of heart, but it's getting harder now.
I know, it's getting really harder to put the excuse in. Is the damage already done?
Yeah.
Was it never meant to be?
With this, to show how badly they got smashed, the top 10 possession getters of the match, Barlow, Pearce, Fife, Mundy, Hill, Neal, Pearce, Subin, Cross, McFarlane. So out of the 10, 1 Melbourne player.
And you'd have to ask, if they weren't manning up any of those guys, who were they manning up? Who was actually standing?
Well, I mean, the fact that Fife wasn't first on the list, I think you can take that as a win.
Yep, I suppose.
He got a lazy 30 and a goal.
Yeah. It might be the first game for the year where Fife doesn't get the 3 votes. He might only get 2.
Yep. And
that's all I can think of.
It's going to be a 3-0 votes for Freo.
Yeah. No doubt.
Who even put their hand up? Jones has tried to carry the team again.
Yeah, they tried hard, but at the end of the day, they were beaten by a better side, and it's one of those. It was just the way it was always going to be. At least they didn't get absolutely belted. They just got normally belted.
Yeah.
Well, Jeffy Garlett took a nice grab.
Well, in fact,
couple.
they kicked
Kicked first goal,
6-14. So
Yeah, that's
they
not
had the
struggle.
ball in the 50. They just couldn't put it between the big ones.
And it's one of Frio's rare visits to the MCG this year. So hopefully they got as much out of it as they could.
Well, they'll be there again.
I mean, to be fair, it did sort of hover around 4 goals for most of the game until the last quarter, and then I think it was 7 in a row or something. Freo kicked.
Yeah, I think
that was
It
it.
worked away.
I think most of us picked Freo to drop off this year, so we fucked that one up.
We fucked that one up.
A
too,
long
'cause-
way to go.
Yep.
Yeah, 5-0 at the minute.
I
And
can't see them dropping off too far from now.
Nah.
it's actually going to be very hard for them to finish lower than second, I think.
Yeah, I can't see many teams challenging them.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, they got Essendon, Bulldogs, North Melbourne, Crows, Richmond for the next 5.
Yeah, they'll win all those.
Yep.
It's not a bad effort. They just got to keep doing what they do and don't drop the silly games like they did last year with lost by 70 points to St Kilda.
Yeah.
So as long as they don't have any of those brain fades,
That's right. St Kilda are still victory lapping on that one.
as they should. St Kilda Essendon, did nobody picked? I think that this would be as close as it was.
No.
Amazing last couple of minutes, and St
Yeah.
Kilda did everything to win it.
Yep.
And if the game goes another 3 seconds, again, Saints might have won.
Yep.
I think they were just unfamiliar with being in the game right at the
being
last
in a
minute.
winning
Yeah,
position.
and
Yeah.
2 goals 6 in the first quarter didn't help either.
No, when they had the dominance,
Yep.
and just didn't put it away. The other good thing for Essendon on the other side of it was Fletch. He looked young again,
Yep.
having his goalkeeper saves.
Oh, I saw that one, the big spoil.
Yeah, wasn't
Inspector
it?
Gadget Arms.
So he's had the drop kick from 60 last week, and he's had the big save in the goal square this week. He's partying like he's got another 10 years left.
Yeah. And I was wondering how Goddard felt about putting a little nail in the Saints' coffin.
I don't think he's crying again,
Yeah.
like he was the first time he beat him.
But all the lads so close to getting a win on the board, get a bit about him, and not tonight.
Yeah, I don't know. After the last couple of years sitting underneath an Asada case, I think he's lost all sympathy for him.
Yeah. Probably right.
Fuck yous all. We're earning these ones now.
But it was a well fought contest, and Saints got a lot to take out of it. And I mean, would a lot more take out of it had they held on for the win? But
Yeah.
what can you do?
Well, what are you going to do with the Saints? I mean,
They know exactly what they're doing.
Yeah.
They've traded off mid-level and senior players the last couple of years to have multiple top 20 draft picks.
Yep.
So they've been stockpiling them, and now they're blooding them all in. And they're putting competitive scores on the board. I mean,
Yeah.
Cam Bruce is third or fourth in the Coleman at the minute.
Yeah, he kicked 5.
I couldn't pick him out of a lineup
No.
before round 1.
Yep, exactly
now
right.
he's killing it in there.
And that's it.
Without Big Rui, who's due back soon.
Yep.
the thing with rebuilding through the draft, though, and we've seen it with Melbourne year on year, it's not just getting the players, it's keeping them.
Yeah, that's it.
Because who wants to be part of a team that's been tanking for the last 4 years? Which I don't think St Kilda are tanking. I think they're just struggling. But Melbourne still haven't got out of the hole they dug themselves into.
Well, the Saints are just still feeling the hangover for trying to win the premiership with that team that they had.
Yeah,
That's really what it is.
they hung on, as well they should.
Yeah,
they
yeah,
tried
exactly.
and hung on to a few players, and forego drafts and youngsters and all that kind of stuff.
But I think that their worst case scenario for this year might have been readjusted up a little bit. I don't think it's potentially as bad as what I was expecting at the start of the season, or all of us are expecting.
I was expecting them to finish 18th, and I don't think they'll finish 18th.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I think they can probably get on top of a couple of teams. I think
Yeah.
Gold Coast
Yeah.
and Brisbane will pretty much be down there.
And even though Carlton beat them last week, they might finish above Carlton too.
And I think that they'll take a lot of positives out of positive performances from their youngsters and
Exactly.
and standing up. And I mean, because there's always going to be, for lack of a better word, dead wood out of your draft picks, where some aren't going to be there, some are.
Which is,
And they've made a lot of good choices. So
well, that's, there's been their tactic is not to have, one draft pick.
Yeah.
And let's hope he works. They've had, all right, we'll have, who was it? They said we'll have multiple picks up early. And that's what we want. We want, 3 or 4 in the top 20. And then if one of them ends up as bust or 2 of them, we've still got another couple.
yeah, because they said straight up that those draft picks are off the table during the trade season.
Yeah. Wasn't even looking at it. Especially the number 1 draft pick.
And it's been the right call. And
the final game of the round was the showdown, which was very interesting in that I picked that it would go Port's way.
Yep.
But 70-odd inside 50s for the Crows and couldn't put them away.
Yeah, yeah.
Port just have a really good mobile defence.
Yeah.
Like, their ability to press and control the back 50 and attack from it is fantastic.
Well, it is the way that they run. They did the same thing with Hawthorn last week or the week before, where they didn't win the inside 50s, but still won the game.
Yeah.
There's now two things to that. One is they flood back. And the reason they can afford to do that is because they have so much run when they're going forward to get those rebound, run-on goals.
Yeah. But again, they play a fantastic,
fast-paced
running game where
they
just
out
play
of
on.
defence.
They will not hold the ball up. They just play on again and again. Same as the Bulldogs and same as when they played North Melbourne. You had two teams doing it.
Yeah.
It's spectacular football, and they do it better than pretty much any other team out there.
It's very much a team defence because they don't have anybody that's one-on-one trying to shut them down.
And that's the thing, when they get the turnover, there's always one player free around the pack to get the handball.
Yep.
And the pressure on him, there's the next person who's free. And as soon as the one gets the break, it's like a running back getting through the line defence.
Yep.
And they're just free.
That's just smart defence because you see other teams, they'll play with the ball, they'll attack him, and there's 3-4 people tackling him, which is fine. But unfortunately, means there's 3-4 of the opposition hanging around waiting for the quick handball out of the tackle.
And the other thing with Port, I don't know if you ever look at the halftime score, was it 8-1 or something like that, or 8-2?
I'll be able to tell you. There were 8-1 at halftime to 4-8.
Yeah, and 8-1 was what they kicked against Hawthorn in the first quarter.
Yeah.
Geez, there's some accurate kicking going on. And that's really, I wouldn't say saving them because, every time they've had a shot for goal, they've obviously aimed for the goals.
Yeah, yeah.
But, geez, it helps.
Because the thing is, a lot of their goals, they aren't sort of hands out in the lead, kicking their snaps from the corner from their small forwards, and it's obviously something that they drill a lot, and their small forwards are very skilled in that. And speaking of which, we shouldn't forget Eddie Betts kicked 5 goals.
And
what
from his pocket again.
Yeah, what a game.
They're actually calling it the Eddie Beck's pocket, and they're
putting
seats in there with it.
Yeah.
As you would.
I would say nobody's owned a part of the ground like that since Doug Hawkins had his wing out at Whitten Oval.
Yep, that's probably right too. And
and on that, Scotty Thompson kicked in the opposite pocket, kicked a brilliant goal on his left, and then another one on his right 5 minutes later.
Yep.
Not bad from the old stager.
Yeah.
Just showing the young lads how it's
and
done.
Especially on the showdown. It's looked good to see someone put one on.
Yeah. So it's amazing that out of the inaccuracy that Adelaide had, the ones they got were bloody unbelievable.
Yep.
Well, if you're going to talk about bets, you've got to talk about Schultz. 5-1.
Yep.
That's a brilliant return for full forward. Any full forward to be happy with a 5-1 return.
Yeah. And I think one of the criticisms of Adelaide this year have been their hardness, for lack of a better word.
Yep.
And just their physicality. And
well, they stormed over North in round 1, and we've sort of almost been waiting for that again. And they got caught by surprise last week for their first loss.
Yep.
With the Bulldogs, but now Bulldogs have gone on and beaten Sydney as well. So maybe it wasn't as much a surprise as it should have been.
Yeah, that's definitely fair. And I think there might be a little bit to their physicality, but with someone like Port, it's hard to be physical with people you can't catch.
Yep.
That's the thing. So I don't think that was really going to be the difference.
That's exactly what Pacquiao said.
Yeah. With someone like Schultz, you can probably be a bit more physical. But,
it's a quick lead.
Yeah, exactly. It's hard to be able to get someone to get in that hole and have to worry about trying to mount some offence if you do get it as well.
But now that leaves, I think, both Adelaide clubs on 3-2 now. After Adelaide looked like running away with it, and Port shaky in the first couple of rounds, but now they're back in the winner's circle and laughing.
Yep. So 4th to 10th for the 3-2s.
3-2s are 4th to 10th.
Hawthorn and Port bookending them.
There you go. All right, so let's have a quick look then at round 6. Now, we said in the early couple of rounds the AFL's been very careful to put not have too many mismatches.
Yeah.
Which means that later on you're going to have some dud rounds. This week I think is another easier round to tip. Having said that, I only got 5 last week, so I'm doing shit there. So I honestly think that the most evenly matched games are the first 2.
Yeah.
We got Collingwood and Geelong on Friday night.
Yep.
Collingwood for me.
I'm going Geelong.
Ooh. It's a tough one, but Friday night, I think I'm going to go Collingwood. I think they'll get on the Friday night stage.
I think their midfield is after you've taken out Beams. I think they've they've covered it really well.
Yeah.
They've got a lot of run through the middle, and that is the problem with Geelong at the moment, is they don't have that same run.
Yeah.
Side bottom's stepped up.
Yeah, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has.
North versus Richmond down at, is it Blundstone Arena?
Yeah,
where it is in Tassie.
Bloody hell.
Geez, that's going to be a nice day down there.
Yep.
I think North.
It's going to be a tight one. It could honestly, I think it'll depend on which team tries the hardest to lose it.
Yep.
Because both these sides,
Richmond have got form on that, I think.
it could be it could be an absolutely spectacular game if both sides play the running game. If both sides play the possession game, you're going to turn off at halftime. It's going to be shit.
So you're both looking after your own teams on that one?
Yeah, you got it.
I'm taking an unconfident Richmond.
If you had $1 for every time you said that. And then the battle of the one premierships, Western Bulldogs versus St Kilda.
Western Bulldogs in a landslide.
The only danger is if Bulldogs are a little bit too happy with themselves.
Yep, and I mean Saints might still have a bit of confidence under their wings, and
Yeah,
down
no.
the Etihad, they're actually they're pretty shit there, aren't they?
So it's the Bulldogs' home ground as well.
I can't see St Kilda matching them for 2 quarters, let alone 4.
Nah, they're too strong through the middle now.
And I think they'll probably take off the gas at 3/4 time to avoid injuries. So the scoreline might end up being a bit closer. I reckon they'll probably win by about 4 goals.
If Rewalt plays, it'll make a big difference. But I'm not sure if he's ready just yet. So if he doesn't play this one, he'll play next week.
I think it'll make a big difference as to who turns up.
Yeah.
I think without
The
that,
crowd,
St
yeah.
Kilda will still turn up.
Yep.
Then we got GWS and the Hawks over in Sydney. GWS have never beaten the Hawks, and this is going to be their best chance to ever beat them, because they'll be without their 2 best backmen and their 2 highest possession getters in the middle this week, and their captain and their vice captain in that.
Oh, look, fuck it. I'm going to tip GWS just for a point of difference.
It'll be an upset, but it's certainly a predictable upset, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm going to tip it solely so if they win next week, I'll be able to say I told you so.
Told you
to
so,
no one
yeah.
in particular.
Yeah, because if they lose, no one's going to remember next week. Give a
Not
fuck.
at all.
They've nearly knocked Hawthorn off once. It might have been 2013. They lost by 7 points at the G. So that they match up well against the Hawks.
Yeah, well,
They've got a chance.
the way they're playing, they've got some stars who can definitely exploit not having likes of Lewis and Hodge on the field. So it's not without reach, but I'm still tipping Hawthorn quite easy.
Yeah, me too. But you want to put some attention into Dylan Shield.
Yeah.
And on that, Jordan Lewis not playing. He is the leading possession getter in the AFL at the minute.
Really?
So he won't be by the time he comes back after his little holiday. But anyway, Gold Coast versus the Crows. That could be embarrassing.
Up at Metricon.
Yeah, I still think the Crows are going to be too strong.
Yeah, I'll go on the Crows that one. I think they'll definitely get over the line.
Based on their midfield alone, and a midfield without Gary Ablett is always going to have a big hole in it. And they sort of covered it late last year.
Just like Geelong in 2011. I think Tex Walker's going to kick a half a dozen.
Yeah, that's what I think. The Crows forward line have too much firepower for Gold Coast.
I actually think Eddie Betts is going to be the one that's hard to stop. His ability to collect the ball and snap it is going to really hurt Gold Coast.
He's very hard to man up on.
He is. You need someone who's mobile and strong, which is, if you're looking for a backman, they're rare as hen's teeth, and they tend to stay put because you want to keep them in your club.
They're called rugby players.
They've got to be mobile, and they've got to be switched on too, because he can sneak around, and then you're like, right, all I'm going to do is blanket him, and then his little dicky handballs over the top, and you're like, oh, shit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the backman rules is generally force him to the boundary line, like protect the corridor.
Yeah.
Against him, doesn't matter. He's on the boundary.
That's where he loves it.
He's fucking putting it through anyway.
Then we got Melbourne versus Sydney at the MCG. I think, Melbourne, it's a rough couple of weeks with Freo at the MCG and then Sydney at the MCG.
Yep.
I think Sydney are going to grind the win. I just don't see any dramatic highlights from this match.
No, I agree.
I mean,
I'm just checking the weather forecast because I think that's the only chance that Melbourne have got.
The highlight of this match,
Snow.
Saturday rain. Ooh, it's raining on Saturday.
the highlight of this match will be when Freo and Essendon starts.
Pretty much.
Yes, which is the next game over there. Essendon were lucky to get up against St Kilda, and now they've got to go face Freo, undefeated, over there.
Yep.
There's absolutely no reason to believe that Freo will lose this game, which means Essendon will win it by 3 goals.
Yep. Well,
Yeah, no, I'm still tipping Freo in a landslide.
I'm going Freo by comfy 5.
Yeah, I think Freo are going to win too. I don't know why, but there's 6 games on Saturday. Don't know why they've done that. They've tried
So
something
there is,
different.
yeah.
And only 2 on the Sunday.
Yeah.
Anyway, Sunday, Carlton versus Brisbane. I think that we'll have to phone the 3 people that attend that game and ask them what happened. 'Cause I'm not watching that. Do we care to tip? Carlton, I guess.
I'm tipping Mick Malthouse
I'm
to
tipping
keep his job.
I'm tipping Carlton will kick 12 goals, 13. Yeah.
I reckon
My tip.
they'll kick 12 goals, 17.
There we go.
It'll be something like that.
Yeah.
To 5 goals, 3.
No, I don't really care who wins. I just reckon Carlton kick that much. That's what I'm tipping.
Sunday, 3:20. I'm not doing anything there, but I'm not going to the match.
No way. No chance. It's Mother's Day. Maybe that's why there's only 2 games on, so it's Mother's Day.
That's why they stuck the Port game on there, because they're going to fucking
Port versus West Coast in the single mums cup.
Married mums get free entry. They won't get away too much money.
Yeah, I think. Well, this is a good chance for West Coast to shake the flat track bullies if they can. Which is still a bullshit term. I don't like it, but anyway, it's been bandied around in the media because you've got lots of columns to fill.
Yep, I love their buzzwords.
Don't they? And I think it'll be 3 on the trot for Port, and I think quite comfortable.
Yep.
And I think Port needs some percentage as well, so they might just turn this one up.
I think West Coast have got a great midfield, like with Pritis running around especially, and they've got a great full forward line.
Yeah.
But at every matchup, I think Port have got them beat.
Yeah, West Coast, with their injury list, they've done well to stay where they are.
Yep.
Look at Kennedy, brilliant full forward.
Yep.
I'd still take Schultz over him,
Yeah.
even though Kennedy's leaving the Coleman. And same with Pritis, brilliant midfielder. I'd still take Robbie Gray over him.
Yeah, at the minute I probably would too.
Yep, I'd probably agree with that.
So while West Coast, I think, are probably doing better than everyone thought they would at the start of the season, I think Port are just going to beat them at every opportunity.
Yeah, West Coast are doing what they need to do against the bottom sides.
Yeah.
They haven't had too much hassle with facing top sides just yet, which is fortunate because their injury list is the worst in the league. It seems to be every time they come up, they get another one. But yeah, they're going well. Even Sharad Wellingham's having a good run around for him the last couple of weeks, so that's good to see. Well, that'll wrap up round 6. All we're doing now we're waiting tomorrow to find out how many games Hodgie gets.
Yeah, that's what we're waiting for.
On last word on that, I think he'll probably get the same as Yaron.
And they said Lewis got offered 2.
3 down to 2.
3 down to 2.
And he'll take it because you can't appeal
You
it.
couldn't take it fast enough.
No way.
Yeah. So I think Hodge will get 4 down to 3 because that's what Yaron got. He got 4 games and they gave him a game discount for the immediate guilty plea.
Yeah.
So I think that's best case scenario for Hodge.
Yeah, and realistically, they're missing out on the GWS, St Kilda, and who got
Sydney.
left?
Sydney's the 3rd game they miss out on.
Yeah, even so, you're really not losing anything with those 2 matches because Hawthorn should be able to cover those pretty easy.
Yeah, that's the problem though. They should.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty good for Clarkson to put them both on the bench after the incident. So if they do get a game, that's like retrospective. They can come back on after the first quarter.
It was good to see that last week we spent all the time talking about Clarko decking someone, and then this week we got 2. We've had the coach.
Yeah.
Now we've got the captain and the vice captain.
So next week the boot starters are going to be knocking people out.
We're going for 4 next week. People like on a binary sort of.
I'm not sure. Well, I think that means Roughhead's going to have to lead out the Hawks because, like I said, it's captain and vice captain gone. So we're running down a little bit.
Maybe
Sam
you've
Mitchell
undersold yourself. You've gone to toss the coin. Maybe you could lead the team.
I should have. I haven't got a response back from that letter yet. I'll wait till the end of this week and then I'll move on to the next club by next week. And by way of that, I've already started writing the letter because I've made assumptions. And then I'll write another letter. Then I might try phone calls.
I'm Billy. I'm a 5-year-old Hawthorn supporter for 28 years.
It could be that they might not do the maths and sneak that one through.
You should do a Bell Gibson and pretend you got brain cancer or some shit.
Oh, well, I did say in the last one that I could have a terminal disease. I haven't been tested, so I can't say for sure that I don't. There's one more thing with the Hawks, because they reached 70,000 members last week. You know how after the game, the winning side, they sign the little footies and throw them over the fence to the kids?
Yeah.
Well, Hawthorn decided to show just how rich they're doing.
Yeah.
And instead of throwing the footies over the fence, they got these great big massive 30 centimetre by 30 centimetre boxes.
Yep.
and gave out trips to Tasmania.
Jesus.
It's as if that isn't rubbing into those clubs that are struggling for a bit of cash.
I don't know, it's pretty rich saying, hey, thanks for coming, now fuck off.
North had 70,000 members between 2014 and 2015 combined.
Nearly?
No, they would have had 80,000 between that.
But yeah, it's just showing it off a little bit. I saw Spanger was running around handing out boxes before the game as well. So Jesus, it was amazing. He had one box.
Yeah.
Gave out 70,000 strips. Couldn't believe he could do it from that one. All those poor little kids with their water bottles. You had to guard away from them.
Pissed.
All right. Well, that wraps up round 5 and into round 6. I don't think we've got anything more to go.
Nope.
All right. See you next time.
Good luck.
Peace.